I am explorer of consciousness. This is how I define myself, awakening, consciousness, and explorer. I didn't know I can channel. I didn't know I can work with energy. But I experienced that I can feel it, and I can feel it very well. We somehow begin to forgot about this unlimited higher self, and we become this more limited self-perception, this identity that is not who we are. To manifest something more, we need to become something more. We need to remember who we are, because this, what we call higher consciousness, it's unlimited. It's much bigger. It has all possibilities. When I first experienced oneness, I was like, I am alone. And I feel pain of being alone, because I only know this feeling from the pain perspective, from depression to expression. This is also about this awakening process from limitations, from dependence in your own self-beliefs. Find out who you truly are and expand the consciousness to really feel that you are much more, that you are this unlimited self. We are the consciousness, we are the creator, and we are creating. Don't matter if we're conscious about this or not. My message, we can do this. It's possible.
Welcome. So, now join me in this transformative conversation I had with Galina Sørensen, an energy healer, explorer of consciousness, and a channel. Galina has over 15 years of experience in guiding her clients to have a deeper self-awareness, empowerment, and conscious awakening. Discover Galina's journey from her roots in Russia to her spiritual path in Denmark, her transition from being an accountant to a full-time healer, and her insights into awakening and her higher consciousness. In higher consciousness, Galina shares her personal experience with energy work, the process of healing from trauma, and deep exploration of what it means to be truly aligned with one's higher self, so you can embrace an authentic life. She also discusses her contribution to the book Beyond Dependence, where she explores how we create our false and limiting identity, and she offers in that book valuable perspectives on finding one's true self to break free from those limiting beliefs and become more authentic self. And so we all have the potential for spiritual abilities within us. Whether you are on a spiritual journey, new to such topics, or just curious about the mystical and supernatural side of life, this episode is filled with profound wisdom and practical advice. Whether you're seeking guidance on your spiritual journey or are curious about the mysteries of consciousness, this episode offers a lot of insights and profound wisdom and tools. Without any further ado, welcome to Galina. Hi, can we just have a moment before we start? I have a little request for you. Dear listeners, I'm looking for a volunteer who wants to gain experience in a podcast production. I search for someone that can mainly help me with SEO optimization, little editing, and guest booking. This here, what you see, is my passion project, and a podcast that dives into the supernatural, spiritual, and mystical world. I am really proud of what I have created so far, but I'm reaching out to you because I reached a point where I could really use some help to take this podcast a little bit further than it is. And so if you're curious about the supernatural, spiritual world, mystic, or you just want to cut your teeth on podcast production, then you're welcome. Unfortunately, this is a one-man show and I don't make money so far with this podcast. I cannot pay anything, but I can give you some coaching and some tips I've learned through the years. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. And if you do so, thank you very much. Highly appreciate it. Welcome, dear listeners. This is another episode from the Oliver Schirach Show. This time, another episode from Denmark to Denmark. We have my guest Galina Sørensen in on Fyn and I'm on Jylland. And I met Galina 2 years ago, about-ish. We met through a Mind Valley event here in Denmark, and that's the only event I've participated so far, unfortunately. And because Galina was sharing that she was participating in a collective book with 3 authors, I reached out and said, hey, that sounds cool. Should we talk on a podcast? And now we gonna talk about her life, her journey, her spiritual path. We have a few points we try to check off to have some kind of a structure. My typical intro questions for the people that know me, and then we're going to talk about healing and channel and alignment and being oneself, spiritual abilities, unfolding consciousness, and these kind of juicy things. So you get to know Galina, what her path has been from Russia to Denmark, and from, I think, codependent to independent. Or she will go deeper in that, and then we will touch up on her book Beyond Dependence, I think it's called. We're not going too deep, but we want you to get curious about the book so you can then get it. It's a tiny book, but still it's a good one. So now you know what you're going to expect. Let's see if that's going to unfold that way or differently. And so welcome, Galina, to the Oliver Scheer Show. Привет, привет.
Yes. Thank you.
And we're going to do that in English, not in Russian, because я хорошо говорю по-русски. So
we do this in English.
Perfect. So, yeah, let's start. How would you describe yourself? My first icebreaker question in 3 words. What kind of 3 words would you use, and why are you using them? So a little bit description.
Yes. I choose word awakening. I choose word consciousness and explore. So this is about who I am right now. This is my path, but this is also who I am. So this is my exploration for now. And part of awakening, this is a topic that has been in my mind for a while. This is also what I work with, but this is not just a work, this is my life. This is life of my exploration. Consciousness, and we're going to speak about awakening a little bit more. And consciousness, because from I was teenager, I was interested in what people believe in and why people are different, why they have different beliefs. So it was my exploration of different also level of consciousness, and we have something we call consciousness, like daily consciousness and higher consciousness and subconsciousness, what it is, and what this means, how we are aligned or connect with this, and what we can do with this. And explore, because I am explorer of consciousness. This is how I can define myself. My last 20 years of my life, I have explored this path about consciousness, about who we are. It has been begin before 20 years ago, but really deep. I was going deeply into this for 20 years ago.
So a path of
Yes.
20 years of exploring consciousness. Wow.
Yes. So I'm also a healer. I am a channel, but I am also much more than this, because this world, when we are going into exploration of higher consciousness and path of awakening, this is so much, so big. So if I have described myself as a healer some years ago, yes, I am a healer, but it is teeny part of who I am. Because today, this definition is just not enough, and channel is also not enough. Yes.
Okay, that's beautiful. If you would be a color in a new color, beautiful new color in a coloring box, like you pick up and you draw, what kind of color would you be? It can be any fancy color, and why would you be that one?
Yes. Right now I'm red.
Rosavi.
And this is Rosalie. Yes. This is my color of today. I always also choose my clothes kind of connected to how
Okay,
I
so
feel.
today you feel red. And
Yes.
why red?
Why red? Oh, good question. I don't know. I just pick up because I like it. Because it's resonate with me today. This is about some kind of power. This is energy, power. Something happened when this is red.
Yeah.
For
That's
me.
what people say. Sound, smell, colors. Sound, words, shapes, and have all kind of a resonance, a vibration to it. And
Yes.
crystals as well. And so, depending where you are, they can uplift that
Yes.
feeling you want or that state you want, or they can heal you from a state that is disturbed. So that's how.
Yes. Depend of where we are today.
When we talked last week to get kind of to reconnect after the 2 years, you shared your path from Russia and to Denmark and the work. So for the people to know, when you say you're a channel, you're a healer, but that's just a little part. How did you grow up in Russia, and when did you come to Denmark, and why did you come to Denmark?
Yes. I have half of my life I live in Russia. And last 25 years I live in Denmark. I come to Denmark because I meet a man, so I become married. But back to Russia, this is my beginning of my life, and I have been not a healer. I have been accountant. I actually have been accountant for 15 years. This is something deeply different from being a channel and being a healer. But it was very important part of my life, very logical, very much structured. So my life in Russia have been very much about the structure and logic, being human being on earth through this logical setup. And I actually feel that I am very logical. I always said I am very logical, as like my father. But I realized later, this is not who I am. This is who I trained to be. I grown up in setup that is about structure, that is about logic. And this is how we often begin to see ourselves from childhood. Who we are, we begin to define ourselves from what we know, from this setup we had in our childhood. So for me, it was very structured, logical way, and being accountant and built my career. And then I moved to Denmark. But actually, already before I moved to Denmark, I was interested in different religions, because it was not about religion, but it was about what people believe in, how they see themselves, how they see the world. And in Russia, all this European part of Russian, we are for the mostly Christian Orthodox in religion, and all this huge Asian part of Russia practice shamanism instead of religion. So this is what they believe and practice, because this is very much about practice. And I knew this. Don't matter if you live on European part of Russia or Asian part of Russia, you know about shamanism. And I find this very fascinating, two very different ways of beliefs, and how people practice spiritual connection somehow. So it was beginning of my exploration.
I didn't really think of that, but it's true. Russia is so big, and when we talked, you told me you're from St. Petersburg, so that's close to Europe, as far as my geographical knowledge is. and now I have never really thought of, like, half of it is kind of shamanism and the other one is Christian Orthodox. But you said they practice shamanism all through Russia, like from the west to the east, from the north to the south, or is it just to the Asian part?
I feel that whole this part, Siberian in Russia, it's kind of the core of nature that people also feel in themselves. So it's kind of natural to know that this nature exists and this practice exists. Even we maybe didn't practices, and I'm grown up in old Soviet Union, so we was not supposed to speak so much about religion at that time. This is my childhood, and then it became kind of more and more open again for people. But it was always something that was, I feel that was exciting, it was interesting.
Yeah. Did you do anything? Did you encounter people which did shamanism, some kind of natural rites? Or you just read about it?
Good question, because I don't know how I knew this. I just knew that it exists. It kind of in the conscious field, information about this. Even it was not so much out at the time when I grown up in Russia. But when I was 71, still in Russia, something happened in my body, in my spine. I get pain very bad, and nobody knew what it was. So I actually need a healer. It was my first connection with somebody who are not working as a doctor, but who work as a healer, work without contact. And when I take a session with him, I realized that I can feel energy. I can feel he working inside my body. Even he was not touching me. So when we don't know, when we never meet this, never try this, we don't know what we actually can, what we're able to. So it was my realization about that I actually can feel energy. And this is also very interesting. And I knew at that time, I knew that I'm going to coming back to this. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know I can channel. I didn't know I can work with energy. But I experienced that I can feel it, and I can feel it very well. So it was my first meeting at the time with energy work, with healing, and I also learned that pain, we can experience very much a deep pain in the body. Maybe it's nothing to do with physical something. There's nothing wrong physical. That's because I had some experience before. There's this emotional experience that caused this pain. So it was my healing process that actually opened the door to this world of healing for me.
Wow, that's interesting. And how did you get to that healer? Family, mom, or friends? Or I mean, you were 21.
It was my it was my friend, because I didn't know what to do because I get paid and doctors didn't know what it was. So I get a phone number from my friend.
Wow. Yeah, because I've talked to so many people, and sometimes it's like I had several where the mother had some energy healing or some knowledge. They could read information in the water. Don't ask me how that works, and stuff like that. But they kept it secret because in that case that was a Muslim family, and so kind of this energy knowledge or feeling or whatever was given through generations and kind of in the hidden. And sometimes in other situations they waited until the daughter or son was old enough for giving that information. That's why I ask. It's not a part of your family really, not something from your grandparents, or it's just a friend.
Actually, my yes, but my grandmother. We in our family we didn't speak about religion. We didn't speak about spirituality. Not with my parents, but after I began to work with healing, I realized that my grandmother, she can feel energy and she can see something other people don't see. And she never spoke about this before. But when I began to work with energies and I did some healing on her, I just see how she responds to this. And then she actually looking not to me when I heal her, but she looked kind of around me. And then I knew she see energy. She's saying energy.
Oh, yes. That's interesting. I've not thought of that. So if you work with her, that stuff happens around your energy field, which is interacting with her.
Yes, my energy expand. It become more visible if people actually can see aura, can see energy. They can see something happened in energy field because it become activated and thing happened in energy field. Yes.
Wow, never thought of that. Yeah, because I listen to so many things and I'm like, okay, all these people talk about seeing energy, seeing colors, looking at people and like, I know this about you. Yesterday, I just reached out to an American astrologer. He gave me his number. I called and he just told me things like, how do you know? Like, oh, that's here on your astrology chart. You know, you had a miscarriage. The second child you should have had didn't get born. I'm like, okay, that's here because this is in this and this house and this moon and blah blah blah. This is obvious. I'm like, what? How is that obvious? and you say your grandmother just saw the energy around you. And how did she then react? How did she talk with you? Did she teach you? Did she guide you or?
No, because I don't think she was aware about this. She was aware what it was. So we actually didn't spoke, but I heard from my parents some stories that she can hear some voices. She can hear when she become older. She just spoke about this. So she experienced something she have not been aware about, I believe. But when she become older, she began to speak about this because I think many people experience something and never speak about this.
It's the fear probably. And you said you grew up in USSR and the Soviet Union. So I don't know how life was there, right? I'm Swiss. I'm almost the same age as you, but life was way different. My ex-wife was Romanian, so she was 7 years old when the Romanian thing fell, right? The communists fell. So I have a little bit of an idea of how it was in Romania, but I have no idea Russia, right? We just get it from books and the Hollywood movies and I don't know, the American spies against Russian spies and whatever not. So that doesn't really give a real picture. But so you didn't really speak about all these things, but you knew it's there. And were you afraid to speak about
Yes,
these things because then you had the Secret Service coming? Or, I mean,
no, it just, if I never spoke about this kind of thing in my family, because my parents just never spoke about this. And actually, when I said to them and I after university, I have university degree in auditing, and after 15 years in working in big companies, also in Denmark, I worked for Lego. I have a career here, and later telling to my parents that I'm not going to work anymore as an accountant with all this career I was building in Denmark, first in Russia and then in Denmark, and becoming a healer. They was like, what? Some years, first 3 years, my father was worried about this and sometimes asked me if I maybe can work, translate something from Danish to Russia or something. And I was like, why? So you have a job. And I was like, Father, I have a job. I have a job. So it took time for them to understand that actually what I'm doing now, this is a work. This is for real. So when I did this healing for my grandmother at the time, I just knew in the way how she looked in my field, I know she sees something. But because we never spoke about this, it was like, okay, we're not going further. But I knew that she see it. She see energy and feel something. And actually, she was also trying to heal. She never called it this way when I think back, because her husband was sick, and I know that she hold hands on his body and actually doing healing and did something, and it was a healing, and she knew that she can, but she never called it like this.
Okay, yeah, but so she's still alive, or did she die? Your grandma?
Not now, but yes, because she was born in 1920. So
Whoa,
yes.
She would be 105 years old.
Yes, but she became 96.
Okay.
So
she had a long life.
Yes.
Okay, so
she had a long life.
Super. Let's go to the healing part. You already opened it up, right? Healing and channel. So what is it?
Yes.
What is it healing? People have perhaps some ideas or misconceptions. So what is it not, and what is it kind of?
Yes, I think this is many things, and people do healing in different way. I like to share the way how I experience myself open up in this ability. When I decide that I felt for a while that something's shifting, and I come to first in my life healing course or course in something spiritual era, the course. It was 1-day course in energy healing called Soul Body Fusion. This is about alignment between body and soul. 1-day course. So I am auditor, coming to accountant, coming to 1-day course in some healing energy. And when I come back home, my husband asked me, tell me, because he was also spiritual and interesting and all this thing. And I tell about that we get some activations, and now I can do this soul body fusion to everybody. I can do this. I have this ability. And he keep asking me, because we get activation through channeling. It was somebody called Ashtatsara, who kind of come through Jeanette Crowley, who was holding the course, Soul Body Fusion course. And he asked me, what did she say? This, who have been channeled, this spirit who have been channeled. And I was like, okay, we have a whole day's course. But I kind of come to the core of the point of this course. And somehow energy coming through me and description or understanding of message for whole discourse comes through me. And I actually channel. So my voice was going deeper and I channel some message about this course. And while I was channeled, I sent energy through my husband. So in 3 minutes, he gets soul body fusion activation. Because this same channel was coming through me. And I was kind of in shock, and my husband was in shock because he can feel energy. So he knew that I just sent some energy to him and channel. Oh my God, I never did it before. And it was a realization about that, first of all, that it maybe is my potential because we didn't learn to channel. We learned about this energy work, soul body fusion as a healing. So, and it was the start. And when I begin to work with soul body fusion, I begin to experience that messages coming through me when I hold the energy for a client. And later I begin to experience that not only messages, but energy, other energies, not soul body fusion energy, but another form, type of energy coming through me, and this is healing energy, and this person needed. And I knew that I never learned how to do this. I never learned other type of energies. What is this? What is it? But I knew that it is right, and I knew that I almost cannot hold it back. I just need to say yes, and it comes through me, energy and message. And I begin to train myself to kind of channel, because it comes sometimes through my healing sessions. And if it comes like this through my healing sessions, it's because I have some potentials and I like to also do it when I like to do it, like with purpose. So I begin to every evening write down, align myself with some higher beings and channel some messages. And then I confirm that because I begin to feel that, okay, I can channel some messages, but it always feels like somebody telling me information. And it was not enough. Something about me, I'm ambitious. so I was also ambitious in this way, because I felt like, I like to know information. Not that somebody is telling me information, I like to see information, I like to know information. And when we have a goal, our consciousness begins to make it possible. So I begin to evolve in the way how I see information, how much I can see, how deep I can see information, also in my sessions. So it was my really exploration begin about who I am, what I can. So I already knew that I can transmit some energies, create a healing space for a person. So right energy is coming. I actually don't need a form, energy form, like special healings form. I create a healing to this person who is in the front of me. And this is kind of communication, natural communication with informations that my client have in his field, and communication with just nature, because everything is there and everything is possible. So I begin to create these healings that come through me, and begin to be deeper with my messages and the way how I can see information, ocean information about healing. It was always about the process client come with. And I begin to channel not beings. It's not about channeling angels or channeling some other beings, but I become just a channel for information that is. It exists.
Okay, so yeah, I can see. So oh wow, what you explain here it's something I haven't heard it that way, but I can understand from Mind Valley. We tried the Da Silva, and there's like a web page where people write down
Yes.
what is their problems, and then you can practice on these people over distance to see what do you see about this person, right? Is it a tall, short, thick, thin, muscular, a weak person in a wheelchair? And then, scan kind of the body. Is there something with the blood? Is something with the bone? Is something with the lungs, heart, etc., etc.? And I remember sometimes I saw stuff, but it was on the 20-30%. And I stopped like 4 or 5 years ago, actually. I never really felt called to do it again. So seeing information then, is it like you see numbers, or you just see things popping up around the person?
I opened the space where healing begins to happen, because this is always natural process. If client come with something client need, like to work with, so this is a message. Okay, we like to work with this kind of thing, but this is not always client know actually or see the core of this problem. The core maybe is in another place, in another topic. So I begin to see what happens. So when I hold the space of this healing, I begin to see what begins to happen. So healing happened before I can see. I see what happened when it happened.
So you mean the healing process, or why the
healing process. And then we can explore through the guidance that coming to me. And guidance is not you should do this or this. It happened, and in the moment it happened, I can see it. I see what happened, what we work with, and like this time I come to this healer, my first experience with healing, it was not about physical thing. It was about something I have experienced in my past. And it is the same with us human beings. We all have stories from our childhood, where we actually, and this is about dependent identity, where we're actually creating our identity in our childhood, but often this is not who we are. This is created from the family we have around us, from the society we have around us, because in this society there are rules how things are, how things. In the family, this is the same. In our parents, they have patterns, and we learn these patterns, and we learn these patterns already before we have been born. So we begin from the period. One of type of healing I do, this is where I work with trauma from our childhood. So I'm going back, I'm sitting with a client and going back to childhood, and I can feel state of beings of this client when this client has been a child. And I focus on some moments that have been dramatic for this client, and dramatic in the way that change my client's perception of who he or she is. Because this is there, we kind of disconnect from who we are and begin to understand ourselves from a different perspective. we begin to feel that we are different. We are not who we are, but we are different. And begin to create something I call dependent identity, false identity of who we are.
Oh, wow. Let,
And everybody have this story.
yeah, but that's depending who you listen to. That's why we're here, to experience. So we
Yes.
come already with an idea of how our path is going to be, and then we forget about it. That's why the French say the angels do like this, shh, silence, forget, and that's why we have the line between the on the lips. It's from the angels telling us to forget everything about what we know, so we can experience. Which is funny. I heard that before I really understood so many spiritual teachings, or whatever you want to call it, and it's still in my head. And that was just when the euro was introduced. I don't remember when that was, 2000 something, one or so. In France, my friend told me that. I'm like, okay, that's funny. I should talk to them about this spirituality, what it means for them. They're from the northern part of France. But yeah, just to wind back, sorry people, I hope I didn't lose you. I try to understand your healing. I can see. So let's put it practical. I say I have now shoulder pain, and so I say, okay, I don't know, I cannot do anything. I go to the physio, I go all these different people. They don't find anything wrong. Everything looks fine. But I have this pain and I cannot use it. So I come to you because someone tells me, or I find you. Did I understand right? So I say, okay, I have this shoulder pain. I did all these things. I think it's something somatic. It's something emotional or something like that. So people don't necessarily know all this spirituality. They just know there's something with energy and it might help. And then you get the information where this pain comes from and how that pain can be healed or removed. Did I get that right? And that happens all in real time.
Yes, I begin to heal, and then I see information. I begin to see what the process, what has happened. If this is physical pain, very often people come because of some blockages, dramatic blockages, some patterns they have in life. But if there's this physical pain, but this is always interconnected with body. Emotional pain is always also somewhere in the body. So when we begin to work with body, for example, then I can, for example, touch the body. I don't have to touch in physical way, but I can. And then healing begins to unfold. So just energy begins to work, and then I can see what happened. Because this is a natural process. And what is healing? Healing about to be whole, wholeness. Whole in which way? What is the wholeness? This is about to remember who you are. This is about to remember this wholeness you come with before you become a human being in this understanding of you. And what I experienced that if we take a period of time before birth, so this is where we are in the womb, and our body still in the way of being a human being. And I experienced that we are consciousness. So we are coming as a consciousness, and we experience ourselves, and we experience the world, but through ourselves. We actually experience ourselves. We are still in one with everything. And through this experience, if we begin to learn patterns that is around us, because we begin to experience patterns around us, what our father and mother experience, emotional states in the collective space. But we experience this is no separation. We experience this as one, as us, as me. And in this way, we begin to learn these patterns. We begin to learn this world of different patterns. Already there. And already there we begin to create kind of separation from who we are, because we begin to create understanding who we are in this world, in these rules that is around us, unconscious, subconsciously.
And that's all happening in the first, while you're in the womb of the mother.
Actually, first we begin to do this, and yes, because when I work with traumatic experience, this first 6-7 years, because in this time, first 6-7 years, we cannot analyze what was happened with us. We just kind of feel this happened, this is right for me. So we identify ourselves with all this experience totally. So after 6-7 years age, we begin to analyze. So we not take it 100%. We actually begin to analyze. It's not just me, it's just something that happened to me, big difference. But before this, we experienced this like, this is me. And when I work with this traumatic experience, when I going back to the womb, I really feel how we can feel some feelings that our mother have been through, but we experience this like, this is me feeling this. And sometimes, if this is guilt, for example, this is not about you, but you experience guilt. You learn what guilt is, because you experience this. As consciousness, you experience to like get information. And this is not in the brain. This is not through the brain. This is you as a consciousness get information what guilt is, and you learn this.
Wow. From what point?
This is much more deeper, and people think often.
I'm very egoistic with this podcast because I interview people about topics I'm interested. So I'm growing and evolving, and I'm able to go deeper and deeper as a podcast host, and hopefully my listeners as well. Otherwise, sorry guys that I lost you here. Come back when you're ready. But that's what I hear a lot of times, right? I go to yoga, and he also says, okay, these people are not ready to hear it. They come when they're ready, because now they cannot understand it. But what I'm interested in, it's kind of like through different mediums or books or podcasts or interviews, I don't remember, you get this feeling of consciousness gets into the body, into the fetus at a certain stage. Now I've been dowsing, doing some soul realignment, and there she says the first 9 months you cannot really douse for the baby because the soul has not really arrived in the body yet. It's kind of a body which the soul comes in and out, and you see it in the eyes when the soul is in the body completely. Like now the person is in the physical avatar, in the meat piece. And before it's kind of coming in and out. What is your experience? Because you say you can feel this oneness, you can feel these emotions from inside the womb during the pregnancy. But when does it start? When do you feel is the start? Is it with the conception? Like now you get pregnant, and boom, and there's the soul which will be that person? Or how is it?
Yes. I believe that we are very humanized the concept, because this is the way how we think. And I like to start with the saying that when I said that people about this deep, this is not because people who listening maybe don't understand what we speak about. This is not this. This is what I mean, that we have no idea how the first time in the womb are important, how deep our experience is. This is what I mean. Because what I experience, I can only speak from my experience. I read some books, but all my knowledge, what I know, what I feel, coming through me as a channel and through all these years I was working with clients. So this is my perception, how I see this. And I experienced that this connection, what we call connection, soul connection and body connection, it's happened from very beginning. So I like to present another version that this is not soul in the body. This is soul, this is consciousness that manifests itself as this body.
Yes.
Because otherwise we disconnect. We're like, so we have a body and we have a soul. I feel, I know we are the wholeness. This is no disconnection. This is the soul or consciousness have experience in the physical way in this body. Not in this body, as this body, I will say. But I understand that people feel that in beginning, the soul or consciousness is kind of not so attached to the body, kind of. My experience that we have a state of being where we are oneness, we are still oneness. We're coming as a consciousness that is oneness, that know oneness, and in beginning experience everything from the state of being. And many people today speak about that children, first year, second year, they are in different vibration of the brain. It's like they are in the meditative state. So this is what we know
like
today.
the fantasy state or whatever.
Yes. Yes, and this is state more like closer to oneness. So how I see it, that we're coming with this oneness, and this is why what I experienced with this dramatic experience, where we have, I share in my book some exploration about my core patterns that have limited me in my life. And when I explore them, I feel that some of them coming actually from the time, and for example, guilt, as I spoke about guilt today, it coming from the time before birth. So it was not my guilt, but I learned guilt when I was in the womb. And what I experienced, that we get our first experience in life about this life, human being life, already when we are in the womb, because we are so experience everything as a oneness. So we are one with this. Somebody experience something, we feel this emotion, and we experience I am this emotion. And why this is so actually hard to work with some patterns that coming from early childhood, because we kind of become it. Because when we as a child in the womb experience these emotions and feel I am this emotion, in this moment, our body, our nervous system built up in this energy, in this emotion, in this consciousness of who you are right now. And this is also about time, because this consciousness in oneness, this consciousness experience everything now. So if I now, in the womb, experience guilt or fear, I become these feelings for now. So we're already there, begin to build up our understanding of who we are in this life as a human being. This is how I experience this.
So basically those oneness moments of being completely in the now create then the false identity to some degree.
Yes, it begins to understand itself through the frame that is around. Frame of emotions, frame of patterns, it begins to become these frames. This is why we are like our father or like our mother.
Not visually, as far as if I look at my parents.
No. In some
Yeah.
patterns we have.
Definitely. I passive aggressive. I realize that sometimes I'm passive aggressive towards my kids. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop that. Why are you like that? And I just see my mom. But it makes sense. And
Yes.
while you share this, from your healing experiences, I hope the listeners understand the healing now. Healing is finding back to oneness, finding back to wholeness, back to the clean state. And that reminds me
Yes.
of Jesus, at least from, was it Eckhart Tolle, when he's explaining it, perhaps in his book, that when Jesus saw the people, he didn't see this disease, he didn't see the sickness, the stress, the depression, the cancer or whatever it is, the blindness. He saw the wholeness. He saw the pure beingness of each individual, and by him being so present in the moment, in the now, it just opened up, and the people could not be present and not feel their essence, their wholeness. Is that kind of...
Yes. So when I spoke about that, I hold the field of healing. I hold the field of this wholeness and alignment, realignment to who you are, who you really are. So it was not surprise that my first course in some kind of healing, something, was soul body fusion. This is about this alignment, our soul and our body in one. Because it was calling me so much. I saw this course and I just knew I should be there. So it was my first course, but it is also about who I am and what is my message. Because realignment, alignment with who you are, this wholeness, when you hold this field and help people realign, what is in balance with this begin to move. So you create a movement, of healing in different part of body or patterns. And you never know where to begin, but we don't have to know, because when I hold the space, the process begins. And then I see the process, and then I speak. So it's happened, like when it's happened, I see this and I understand, and I speak it out to my client what happened right now. And I follow the flow. So I just intuitively knew what to do, where I hold the focus, if we sit together, where I should touch the person, so we release blockages. So it happened kind of in knowing. So I am a channel. I am in this channel state where I just know information. This is why I think at the time and beginning when I channel somebody, I felt like, no, I need to know information, have access to the information, so I know this. So this is how it happens. So I feel like this is not, should I do this or this? It not exist. It happened, I just know that this is just right for now.
There we go. Dear listeners, we had a short technical break. And we tried to remember where we stopped. It was about the body is the consciousness manifesting itself. We talked about the baby and when the soul is entering the body. And you said it's more the consciousness creating the body, kind of like manifesting in the body.
It manifests itself in the physical world, how I see it, yes.
Yes, which then brings me to something we didn't talk about in the break. Are we manifesting the material world around us as well? as many people
Yes,
say.
we do. Yes, we do. But we do this from our self-perception, from how we see the world. So if we, from beginning of this life, as a consciousness, we learn about ourselves through the experience we have in this world, in these patterns, and what do we learn? Everybody knows that we have some fears that we learned from time before, from time in this life, childhood. We know that we have experienced that kind of limited our abilities, different abilities. So when we speak about healing, we speak about healing of childhood. We're going back to heal something that limit our self-perception and what we think we can. So when we have this self-perception, so we create from childhood, we begin to create our identity of who we are as a human being, because we somehow begin to forgot about this unlimited higher self-consciousness, and we become this more limited self-perception, this identity that is not who we are, but who we become or become because we should survive. We have maybe some different experience that was not nice, and then we need to survive in somehow, some way. So we begin to create these limited beliefs about ourselves, who we are, and it creates our self-perception, and it creates our limited world. We cannot see out of this frame. We become a frame of these beliefs. And this is what I call false identity or dependent identity. Dependent because we kind of cannot get rid of this dependent identity. So we are dependent on this self-perception because this is how we see ourselves. And reason why it can be so hard to come out of this self-perception, because in the time when we have been small, we still have been this consciousness that experience everything as itself, oneness, as itself. So I experience some limitations, and I experience this is who I am. I take it in as this is who I am. I don't question this. We begin to question this later, after 6-7 years. We begin to question this. So this is one self-perception. And can we manifest? Yes, we're manifesting everything from our self-perception. What we believe, we manifest. Conscious or subconscious, we're manifesting this. And we like to manifest something more. To manifest something more, we need to become something more. We need to remember who we are, because this, what we call higher consciousness, or this consciousness that come here, it's unlimited. It's much bigger. It has all possibilities. Question is, can we truly believe that we are this consciousness? Can we change our self-perception to believe that I am this consciousness and not these limitations that I thought I was? And I call this awakening process, when we actually can shift. For me, this, first of all, healing process about to be whole. So we begin to heal all these limitations. We begin to create actually understanding about our identity, this identity we have been created through these healing processes. And then when we realize that, okay, I had this different limitation, this is how I see myself, And we begin to feel that this is something more. I just know that this is something more in me. We begin to open up to something that is bigger. And this is something bigger, this is in me. And at some point in my work, I realized that we can always find something to heal. Because we are consciousness. So if we think that there is something that limiting me, we will find something that limited us in this life, in our childhood, in past life experience, in life in the universe of something, in our family, back grandparents, their grandparents. As long as we believe that something can limit us, we're dependent on this belief, and we're victim of this belief. And we become trapped in this victimhood because we believe that everything else can affect you and can limit you. So the way out of this trap, and we can heal and heal and heal and find something else to heal until we can realize it has to be something more. And I need to come out of belief that something can affect me. So I become bigger. And then we're ready. So take a shift.
Wow. Yeah, now I couldn't even ask you what is awakening. You just jumped right into it. And becoming more, I think I understand it, but what do you mean? What is the more? It's like I'm just a little construction worker, but I could be actually the boss of a construction company. Is that the more, or is it something else you mean?
This is the feeling inside that you can have everything. And you cannot be limited by others, by circumstances, by anything. Through all this 15 years I work with clients, I always worked with this alignment to this higher self or higher consciousness we are, because every time you align with this, you become bigger. So your possibilities, abilities become bigger in life, different part of life. And you feel greater. And at some point I realized, I just knew that this is something more than healing of different trauma. Because we have this point where when you think something can limit you, you will find something that limits you, but you become trapped in this. You will never come out if you're not thinking that you can actually be unlimited. You can actually be this consciousness that is not trapped in limitations. So for me, at some point, I said to myself, like at the time with channeling, I was like, I like to know information. It was the same with this awakening process. At some point, I was like, I like to know what it is mean. I like to know what it is, how can I feel like a person who are awakened? What is awakening process? And then I hold some courses. Every year I hold different type of courses. I'm channel, so every year it support my own process of exploration of life. And then I invite people, if you like to be on this course, we're going to explore this together. So I had a year where I hold a course called Unlimited. This is how to understand to be unlimited. So for a whole year, once a month, I hold different activations about this. In same year, I hold a course called Divine Biohacking. And this is about how to biohack your physical being with your divine being. How to become divine being, not just align with higher self and feel connection to the soul, be the higher self. How to be the higher self. Can we understand ourselves? Can we have the self-perception? I not have a soul. I not have a higher self somewhere. I am the higher self. And how this feels, how can it feels to be a higher self? So that was my exploration. And I hold some activations. And in the middle of this year, when I hold these activations, I become through what I call awakening, because I kind of realize I have experience of coming out of all these frames. This is the frames of limitations. And I feel how to become, how to feel, to be this consciousness without limitation. But then I understood that this is also field of exploration, because we have no idea what is law. For we know law from the frames of limitation, from the frames that there is no law. We don't know how it feels to be safe because we are in fear. We have understanding of being safe from the perspective of being in fear. We search unconditional love. Somewhere in our nature, we know it exists. But we're trying to understand this from the perspective, this is no law for me, I don't know how to love myself. And then, when you come out of this frame and feel the pure state of being, of consciousness, you experience this in different way. Because there are no duality. We learn to experience world in duality. When you are this consciousness, there are no duality. And this is whole different setup of state of being that is not based on fear, on limitation, on fight in life. This is something really different. And it takes months for me to step by step understand what it is. And then this is not enough for me to understand what it is. I like to be able to create the same experience for other people. And it took months for me before I actually begin to hold a session in awakening process. And I still unfolding this understanding. It's like, it's much more in this, because we are so dependent on our self-perception in limitation, our self-perception in duality world. We cannot understand how it feels to be one. When I first experienced oneness out of limitation, so out of this field of limitation, and experienced this oneness, I was like, I am alone. And I feel pain of being alone, because I only know this feeling from the pain perspective. And then it hit me, of course, this is oneness. What does this mean to be one with everything. It means there are no other beings. You are one. You are really one. There's no other beings. And our mind, it have no idea what it is and how it is. So this is very interesting, very special. And what is interesting, how to speak about manifestations, how to be this consciousness that can manifest not because everything what we should manifest from or what we used to manifest from, but what is the state where thing actually happen. Because when you are oneness, you are not take it like, I like to do this, because you are one. You experience some, it's not even emotions, but states. And everything becomes to be created from this state of being instantly. So this is very different, this is different topic, but this is also a very different state. But I like to open a little bit into this topic because this is about wholeness, but this is wholeness on different level.
Yeah, wow. So this awakening experience, it sounds like it started because of these projects or these courses you gave, but it was over a longer period, or was it just like a one moment thing?
It happened on one moment where at the moment I was like, wow, this is awakening, because this is shift in consciousness. What kind of shift happened? I understood how to come out of all this limitation, field of limitations. But after this, I realized I cannot live my life in a way that every day's basis. In this state, it's like all this field of limitation so much built in me. So I create a process, or I explore how to be this and what it means to be this in everyday's life. And this is actually very grounded. You are a human being, you can be a human being, but with another self-perception. So this is not out of body, this is not angels and unicorns. No, you can actually be very grounded, you are actually very connected. It's like when I'm channeling, I'm very grounded and connected. And I am in the state of being where I know what I need to know, just coming to me. And you instantly have understanding of complete thing, but it's like landing you instantly. And people ask me, can you not be this all the time? And I was like, no, I cannot. But this is actually the process where you're becoming a human being, normal human being, living normal life, and still connected in this way. This is very special. So it's still unfolding. I had a group of people who was going through this awakening process, and now it's a new way of understanding of this awakening process that I am unfolding now. And already now I know that I can guide people differently through this process. But this is me full time in my own awakening process, and then guiding people through this.
Yeah, so many times when you hear awakening, people talk more or less about the Kundalini type of awakening, like physical, very painful, or whatever. But for you, it was more like a really a realization.
There's a shift of consciousness because people who experience Kundalini, do they get rid of their limitations because of this?
So I had one interview and she said she changed because
She changed, yes.
she was in the very material world, Botox and Louis Vuitton and nice car and nice house and everything. And now she's like, whatever. It's not important. But she's not judging people anymore. That's what she said. She's like, okay, you have Botox, you have breast implants, whatever.
Yes.
It's your path. I'm not judging you for not being awakened. Which I think it's very beautiful because, judgment is many, I'm so awakened, I'm so good, I'm so spiritual, but you're not. Why are you driving this car? Why you do this? Right?
No. I believe that we have many ways how to people searching in different ways, and different people attract to different ways how to get there. For me, it was through shift of consciousness, and I believe this is a shift of consciousness because because this is another state, and you change your self-perception. In order to change your self-perception, who you are, that you are not these limitations, that this is really a shift in your personality, in the way how you used to see yourself, how you used to feel. This is different. So this is a shift, and there's a shift in consciousness. You understand yourself in different ways.
So it's kind of like you died, like the old you.
Yes, I was not through this kind of dying processes, but yes, you release your old self, and I don't know how other people do, but I don't think we can do this like a one shift, because you need to understand yourself in a new way. You need to understand what happened. So for me, this is unfolding as a process where I learn what it is, but also how I can guide other people through this process. And something I was exploring for months, I can later do in one session. Because it needs so many steps, but when I change my field, what does this mean? I change my field. I change the energy I hold for other people. Then I can lift them also through this energy. I can show them in energy what it is. This is communication, consciousness to consciousness. What I also do in my session, this is a part of this. I share from consciousness to consciousness information. And when you realize some information as a consciousness, you kind of know this. It's going through deeper layers. It's not mental. It's going through deeper layers of consciousness. And it creates a deeper shift. Because we can understand that, yes, I am the higher self. I know I'm the higher self. I know. But we can know this mentally, and we can be this through hollows our being. This is a very different thing. But my message, we can do this. It's possible.
Yeah, but it's not the path for everyone, I guess.
No.
Some people want to be in the victim mindset, in the materialistical mindset, whatever you want to call it. We talked a little bit before in our break, in our technical issue break, that I'm more in the mind, that mentally understand these things, mentally understand there's more, there's energies, there's communication, lucid dream, out-of-body experience, astral travel. but it doesn't really work for me. Like there's like a block. And so when you explain that, I'm like, yeah, it's the experience which is teaching you. It's not the reading of the book. Or the world is like a book, and if you're not traveling outside your city, you just opened the book, but you didn't turn the pages. So it's super beautiful. So this is an ongoing process for you, you say. It's unfolding, integrating, learning something new. How did the world around you change when you had this awakening? Did people fall off? Did people come to you? I mean, now you did already do 100% healing and channeling. So it's not like you dropped out of your job and started being a healer.
No.
But how did anything change because of that? Or everything stayed the same, you just feel different?
My perception on thing changed. The way I respond to the world changed. It also create a movement where I also meet different people, of course. But what I like to point here, that our own perception of the world change. So you become not so attached to things that happened in the world in the way that happened. You kind of can see what happened without instantly being in the situation and get these feelings and being involved in this. So this is about how to stay in your space and how to see through this situation, what happened. Because we are so used to be involved instantly in what happened around. This is also about our dependency.
Yeah, no, I just think of what's happening in the world. When I respond to it, I have some people around me which kind of think I'm not normal for how I look at these things. Because you can be really pulled into, you're Russian, right? So we don't want to go down that way. And I'm talking to the Ukrainians next door. So I should not do that because I'm evil, right? Because I talk to you and talk to Ukrainians. It's whatever. Guys, it's a big theater. It's for us to be distracted. And I let myself be distracted by these things. It's kind of like watching TV for me. It's like, whoa, cool. There's something. Okay, what happened here? What happened there? But I don't feel emotional about it. And it's hard for me to remember, how did I feel 20 years ago if something like that happened? Was I more involved? And I learned slowly to let go of these things. And wow, it's already 4 years ago. I had a girl from Sri Lanka, and she shared her awakening story with me. And she had also to let go from different things, different identities. Yes, that's what I wanted to say. That life happened to her, different things like a relationship, romantic relationship, school, because she's from Sri Lanka, there's some cultural things. So things happened and she let go from one thing and the other, right? So, and she said her awakening happened when she could let go from, and the mantra, I'm not my body, I'm not my mind. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind. I don't know if you have heard that mantra. She said that was the hardest. But when that clicked, life changed. So like letting go of everything. My identity, I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm Swiss, I'm Russian, whatever. All these things, let go.
Yes. We have different ways how we get into it.
Yeah, but it sounds a little bit like you let go of the involvement of this and this and this. Like,
yes. We let go of this identity. How we used to see ourselves.
So you get more free, less dependent. And did we actually answer? I mean, we went to awakening and and all these things. Did we close up your healing like in the depth? Did you now explain that, or did we miss out something on the healing part? Or can we call it it's closed?
For me, healing, this is the part of understanding of who we are, because through healing processes, yes, this is of course about to be whole, but when we begin to do healing on ourselves and heal ourselves, we meet these different part identities that is our limitations, that is not who we are, this consciousness, that is these limitations. So we learn about this. And this is one story, this identities, this identity that we have been created through our life. But then this is also another part. Learn who you are, who you truly are. And who you truly are, it always has been with you and in different situations. And I experienced that this is both in situations when you, for example, in love, you are in different state of being. So this part of you just begins to shine, because this is never away. This is in you. This is you. So I experienced, this was my exploration in the book, actually, where I describe my way, my patterns of my dependent identity. And then I describe how even I had all this limitation from my childhood. I built my career. I listened to my inner voice. I did not at the time, it was my inner voice. But I took some decisions which was very powerful and very important for me to take. Don't matter what kind of limitation I carry in all these identities. Something inside me was deeper, was bigger, was stronger, and we need to see this part of ourselves, because I also realized that this part also was taking decisions in the most difficult situations in my life. We used to see ourselves small when we experience something difficult, and later when we look back on ourselves, the thinking that it was unworthy or something, but it is not us who was unworthy. Maybe situation was not carried unworthy. Yes, some bad situations happened with us. But when we look inside us, how we handle the situation, I saw that in each situation something deeper coming from inside, and actually take decision. And not take decision that is very, you just know what to do at this moment. But we need to see it, because then we can see our strength in difficult situation. We used to judge when we experience something bad happened with us and look back. We judge the situation, we judge ourselves in the situation, we judge other people in the situation. But actually there, this inner voice is you, not just in you, is you, and take a decision where you actually staying for yourself, always. This is what I realized when I saw deeper.
So you mean also the decisions which feel like a bad decision, it was still from the higher, bigger self?
Yes.
We
can feel that it was bad decision, but if we look deeper, what it come from really, from the soul perspective, then you can see a different picture why you took this decision. It was also some realization I had during this awakening process. Actually, when I saw it in very difficult situation in my life, tragical situation in my life, when I also judged myself and was thinking, why I did this, why I didn't do this, when I looking back, then I experienced the same situation when I was me, not looking from outside, but looking from inside. And I saw power I otherwise didn't see in me. And I saw that I was worthy through whole situation. And I saw that this decision I was questioning when I saw on the situation from outside, I did it for myself. Don't care about what else happened around. I was staying in my power. I was staying in my, and don't care in good way. It's not like I don't care, but it is good. So they don't care when you need to care about yourself. So it was actually from caring about yourself, about love to yourself, this decision I took. And it just was whole another picture, an understanding of the situation and understanding of my choice, that I could judge if I look on situation from outside. And when I look from inside, from the soul, from the consciousness perspective, I saw this power that I actually didn't saw before.
And that's something many people should experience for themselves, I guess. It would help a lot.
Yeah.
And we also talked in the break a little bit about depression expression, and you kind of liked that.
Yes. This is about this process when we are coming, what is depression? This is state of being of contraction somehow. And this is about all this limitation that can be too much when we actually don't feel who we are. We only can see and feel these limitations and feel that this is not my life. This is not who I am, but I am here. And this is the field of self-perception in this limitation. And so expression can happen when you are free. When you really from inside feel that you are free. And when you are aligned more with who you really are. So for me, when you said this from depression to expression, this is also about this awakening process from limitations, from dependence in your own self-beliefs, to find out who you truly are and expand the consciousness to really feel that you are much more, that you are this unlimited self. And you can be this unlimited self as a human being, very grounded on earth, in daily life, but with different self-perception.
Wow. Now, I went through many, many years of depression. And once in a while it says, hello, you're not good enough, and all the self-judgment. And then I have several people around which are on antidepressants for years. And some of them are also doing spiritual work. And I just look at them from the outside. I try not to judge. And I feel helpless. And I'm like, please stop that. How do you see that with all these antidepressants, 20, 30 years, and an awakening or self-finding process? How can you help, or how can those people, if they listen to the podcast, how can they help themselves? Do they need someone like you, or can they do it somehow by themselves?
This is different ways this is about how to align to yourself.
Yeah.
But if you're on the level where you can something, then you need, of course, somebody who can lift you in the energy field, lift you in this alignment. For me, this alignment, when I, for example, hold the field of alignment with who you are, with this consciousness, the self, this is through your body, this is through your consciousness. For me, consciousness, this is also as a field of consciousness. Through your energetical field, whole your system, the way your body working, there's so many aspects. And when this alignment happens, it can happen some realizations that you need to have to come out of the state. Because when you are in depression, you need to see the light, the direction, where to go. And this alignment can help you to better feel, because people also in depression often don't feel themselves. Yes, don't feel themselves. So this has helped to feel yourself, be more aligned with this consciousness, your not limitations, but your higher consciousness. And then your state of being can change, and realizations can come and help you to confront, take steps out of depression. See the way. I also know this state of being, of depression. For me, it was shift in between my accountant work and into my healer work. So in between this, I also experienced depression, because in many years I knew I need to do something else, but I didn't know what it was. So it was also the way out, because when you are in depression, this is because you're searching for something. You're searching for answer. And this is always answer. And if you're searching, you will find.
Yeah. What if you search for 20 years and it doesn't come? I have the feeling some of the people, and sometimes for me when it knocks on the door, it's like I've been searching, I've been meditating, I've been doing all these different things, right? Ayahuasca, magic mushrooms, meditation, drumming, breathwork, ice bath. That's for me. And other people also search, and then say, hey, for 20 years I'm depressed. And it's kind of depressing even more, because you feel like I'm such a failure, because even after so much work, I'm still not finding a way out. But that's where you say it can help having someone which is present and helps you be aligned.
Who can help you to become aligned with who you are and guide you through this way, because you're always searching. So somebody who can help you, guide you, help you into this way that you're already searching. I think answer is also to this question can be very different for different people, because situation is different.
Yeah.
Some people can also be trapped in identity about being depressed. And this is, yes, for real.
I would say 90%.
For real.
Yeah, definitely, because when I talk to the people, like, I'm depressed and that's who I am and I need the medication, and I'm like, stop that.
So for these people, this is, if they really like to come out of this depression, this is about how to get rid of this self-identity.
Yeah, so we go back to where we started in this whole episode. So with alignment, letting go of identities. Yes. By that we are more aligned with ourselves. When we find ourselves, we hear that inner voice and can eventually have a step-by-step awakening Otherwise, I think if we have a real awakening, we're just going to be the rainbow warrior and the teeth are left on the ground and we are gone.
Yes.
That's kind of like from Bhagavad Gita and all these ancient stories, right? But so we have like this step-by-step awakening, more alignment, more realization, more the feeling of oneness, and by that realization that we are love, and so we are loved, so we can give love, and we're not coming from fear, because I need to have that job. If I don't have that job, I cannot have the house. If I don't have the house, I'm sleeping on the street and I'm die because I'm freezing, or a wild cat attacks me in Denmark. But yeah, I'm making a joke out of it, but I think this is kind of like the pattern. So like align, letting go of false identity bit by bit, more awakening, more alignment, more self-love. By more self-love, more love for others, more compassion, less judgment, more unconditional. You're not loved because you have brought me cake at work for my birthday, but because you are. And I'm aware of this unconditional love for kids because I have my own kids, and yet it's so difficult at times.
Yes, I also learned about unconditional love. In my part, I learned, I have a dialogue with my friend and colleague about unconditional love. And he said, this is like when mother loves her child. And it just come through me. This is not unconditional.
Exactly.
Mother's love is not unconditional because it's conditioned the biology. This is my child from the human perspective or animal perspective. This is my child. My child needs to survive or something. And from our patterns, it can be so many conditions. So our love, mother love, father love, I don't see it was unconditional, but it can be unconditional. We can make it unconditional.
Yes, we can make it. It's the goal. And I told you also in the break that passive aggressive towards my kids once in a while. I'm like, fuck, come on, please. Because I try to hug and love them, kiss them at all times, no matter what. But still, I fall back in this. And I think it comes from fear. And then probably the fear of detaching, that they will not love me or they don't want to see me. So I get fearful and then I get passive aggressive. Or something like that.
I like also say something about this true self, because I experience when I feel through my life, when I feel when my true self was shining, that I am more exciting about things. I like to explore. So the explorer thing is my soul thing. But I kind of have some self-perception about who I am when I am true self. And then I realized this is actually not like this. When you are this consciousness, you are unlimited. You have all these possibilities, and you begin to create life more freely. And it can be so much different. So you can try something and then you try something else and you explore other aspects of who you are. It's not framed in you are like this. It's not framed at all. So our true self is really much more free to be whatever it likes to be right now.
Oh, beautiful. What was it? Yeah, we said we were talking about purpose of life, or what was it? In your words, meaning of life, purpose and meaning of life. How do you look at that? Is there a purpose?
For me, purpose is exploration of who you as this consciousness can be and create in this world. So there's a still exploration of yourself, who you can be, what you can create in this world as this consciousness. So first of all, we need to become this consciousness. Have self-perception of this consciousness. and then we can answer this question. Not answer like this is the answer, because it becomes exploration of life. So this is how I see this. And our purpose, be here and explore. And I believe we explore different things and different topics. And I believe that some consciousness come here to also explore deep feelings that also can be dramatical feelings. For somebody, this is the purpose. Not everybody likes to walk awakening path, but somebody want. So this is my path. For me, this is how to become so unlimited, actually free, because in unlimited, this is also limitation. So how to be free and create whatever I like to create, not feeling that something holding me back, or one of my patterns from my childhood being invisible. So I have my true nature, but I explore, and then my patterns, my false nature, second nature, is being invisible and holding totally back. So this is two very different things.
Well, okay. Invisible. So how did that express in your life?
Being invisible. Yeah. Oh, I feel this through all my life, also through my childhood. When I remember me in childhood, this is being good girl, who not saying much, who are not forward, who not exploring. Now I just thinking about me being a little girl, actually, back then, because it's coming from there. And I always, through my life, feel this limitation to speak what I like to speak. I was always trying to think what other people can think if I tell this, and but this is all patterns. It's very hard to predict what other people will think if you do something. It's impossible because people are different. But it was my kind of survival mechanism to do this, because I experienced that if I don't do this, if I say something wrong, if I'm do something other people don't like, then they don't like me. So being invisible, kind of survival mechanism to exist. And then I experienced that what is being invisible? This is not existing in order to exist. It was my pattern through my life that I have worked with. But even I had this pattern, it was very, very strong. I built my career both in Russia. I shift country. I come to Denmark. I built my career in Denmark. I shift from accountant to being healer. I listened to my inner voice anyway. And I was ambitious. I was always see myself as ambitious. Even this very strong pattern about being invisible. But it was like so part of me that I should understand how this in me, built in me, all these different identities. But being invisible was very, very strong identity. And being ambitious and going my way is also very strong part of me.
How do you put that? Being so ambitious, going for the way, but still being invisible. I mean, have you been overseen because you didn't want to be seen? Because you were quiet? So you were the last to be picked at sports, the last to be picked up for the games?
It could be. So me being invisible, it was also when people meet me, they see this nice girl who kind of holding back and being nice, who not express what she wants. And then it was this strong part of me, this ambitious part of me. In order to survive, I was invisible, but in order to survive, and this is my higher self, this self that was anyway showing up, because this is who I am. I am this explorer. And don't matter what kind of difficulties I was experiencing in life that made me invisible through childhood and later. And I remember feeling of depression. I don't know what it was at the time, but now I know when I look back. When I was teenager, I was melancholic and in this feeling of depression because I could not be me. I was invisible. I could not be me. But even there's something stronger was in me. There was this self, my higher self, that liked to explore, that needs to explore, to live this life. And it was stronger. It was searching. It was my way.
And so there's like two things coming to mind. Not being able to speak in the New Age spirituality, Ayurveda, you talk, the throat chakra is blocked. So the energy is not flowing through the throat, which is communication. Did you have problems with your voice? Did you have thyroid problems?
Yes, I had problems. Not in a medical way. In a medical way, it's no problem. Okay. Because nobody, you cannot see thyroid. But what I experienced, being invisible, when I look back on my own story, because I was working with so many people with childhood trauma. So there's a core trauma in childhood that changed your self-perception, what I was working with. I was looking at myself and my own story. And then I saw the story. I was only 1 year old when I experienced that my parents gave me away. They didn't. Actually, they still my parents, they loved me. But in my experience, they did. And it was activate this part of being invisible. And I saw, when I looking back from my clients' seeing, I saw how whole my immune system just shut down at the moment. Because what is being invisible, this is not existent. And when this is not existence, your energy shut down. Because our energy field, our body supporting what you think you are, supporting what you shut down in energy in my immune system. So it was easy for me to be sick because it was not working. through my life. No strength to virus or bacteria. I could not fight it.
Yeah. So immune system was low. You got fast cold, infections,
Yes.
all these things all
Yes.
the time. So it was not the
Yes.
throat in this case because it didn't speak up.
Yes. My voice is not so strong. Was not so strong about this. Yes. You can have very strong voice and you can have not so strong voice. So this is in the family about the voice. Women in the family have this voice. So this is also pattern, this family pattern.
Yeah.
Because can also say, this is just the voice, your voice is like your mother's voice. No, this is also pattern. Why is voice like this? It can be deeper for them.
So your mom is also hiding or not wanting to be visible.
And she had her own story, but about voice, we have voice that similar.
Okay, so you're not standing out too much. Like
She had her own story. Combination is different than mine.
it's not exactly the same. We have like combinations, right? We have a little bit from daddy, a little bit from mommy, a little bit from grandma.
I believe that this voice, about the voice, that this is about a pattern. This is what I feel.
And when did you actually change that limiting belief? Not visible.
It was not the one moment. It was in layers. It like unfold in layers. Yes.
Yeah, but it was like 10 years ago, 20 years. When did you overcome it?
No, this is I consciously begin to work with myself for 20 years ago. And for 15 years ago, I began so working with my clients full time. And then I really stepping in because then I become a healer. And I really begin to understand what it is, how healing works, what is healing, what is all this consciousness, what we believe at identities. So it was the way of my exploration with 15 years and my own healing process through this 15 years. I'm still unfolding in this awakening process because I still, it's some layers that still releasing. But now this is about how to understand, be this consciousness in deeper way, deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, I can see this pattern in your life, unraveling
Yes.
more and more.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, we talked also about it. 15 years of 100% working, and 5 years more where you worked on yourself. You shared qigong, tai chi, and this kind of things.
Yes, and this is
work on
work with your own energy field. And I like this already at the time. I didn't know that I'm going to be a healer and change my career. Oh, I already kind of knew a little bit, but I didn't know who I'm going to become. But what I love with this, because with Tai Chi, Qigong, you working with your own energy field. And then I really healed my energy. I feel that I can feel energy, and I was playing with energy. And I didn't like to do form, because when you do, so you do this and this and this. I didn't like this. I like to be in the flow and just feel what my body needs and move how my body needs to move in this in Tai Chi and Qigong. And this is natural flow when you're playing with energy, natural, and balancing energy in natural way.
Yeah, wow. I played with so many things as well. I did also Tai Chi, Qigong with a Chinese woman here in Denmark, in Struer. what was that, 2016, so like 9 years ago, with old people. They were all pensionists, and I was like, yes, so I was, what, 37, 38 or something. And because I did martial arts, I was learning very fast, and they were learning slow. And yeah, but it's always pulling me. These things are pulling me, and I don't know why. And just to go a little bit back to the from depression to expression kind of part, it makes sense that you're not yourself. So you know something is, not something is wrong with you, but you know you don't live yourself. And by that, you have this depression. And I had this paranoia of doing Wovinam, Viet Vo Dao, Tai Chi, Qigong, a little bit here, going in the fitness center, to running, basketball, whatever, trying to fast. And then I had this really strong feeling I need to kill myself. Hanging up the rope already, while the kids were in kindergarten and my ex-wife was at work. And I just stopped myself. I'm like, why do I want to kill myself? But I have a lifestyle where I potentially can be 110, 20 years old. It doesn't make sense. So I'm like, something is wrong here. So I couldn't kill myself. And then the question was, am I just too weak? Or like you say here in this story of your life, like there's something guiding you all the time, even though it feels wrong. So my higher self just like, no, that's not your path. we don't kill ourselves. And I kept on eating healthy and working out and do all these things. And it was like 2-3 times I had this, now it's over. I don't want to continue this life. There's no point. It's dark. I'm not living my life, right? I'm not living. But that's a depression, because you don't live you, which is not your life or anyone else's life. So I have to find my life. So that's kind of what I wanted to add. I have been there. I don't have that anymore because I'm more aware. Now, we have about 2 hours. Woo-ha.
We have, yes. It is important to not identify with depression. People who are in depression, it's important not to identify, because otherwise you have question, I'm so weak. This is not you, this is the state.
Yeah.
That is about this identity. And this is a state of being. And if you're becoming the state of being, you feel weak. But if you're not becoming the state of being, you kind of understand this is state of being. When you understand this is state of being, this is an identity. You can actually come in or out of this. I understand when you are in depression, it can be hard, but I like to have this picture to people who have this right now, that this is not identified. Try to not identify yourself with the state.
Yeah, like depression is visiting me. I feel it. What does it want to teach me? What does it want to say? It's as we both said, it's when you live not yourself, when you identify with parts that are not you. And you know that deep inside you, so that's why you're depressed. Yeah. Because you try to live the life your parents had. And you feel you're too weak because you cannot have the same life, or you cannot live up to their expectations. And now you identify yourself, you're 40, 50 years old, and you still identify with that person at 15, 16 where the parents wanted to be. So you're depressed because something in you say, hey, that's not you. But now you start to identify because for 20, 30 years you are depressed. And that's the difficult part to get out. And I think the question would be more like, what does the depression want to show me? And who am I that I'm not? Or like, who should I be? Or, right? How can I align more to myself? And we put all your links at the end if people think Galina is the one which can align me.
Yes.
About the book, I mean, that's why I reached out to you again.
It's right. It was about the book.
Yeah, but we agreed that it's not about the book, it's about you. So the people go out and buy the book, read it, give some feedback, and bestly directly to you, so you know what effect your story has to them. So the book is called Beyond Dependence.
Book is called Beyond Dependence. I have this.
Yes, that's
right
much
here.
better.
We are 3 authors from different parts of the world who are writing about Beyond Dependence. And we was writing each our own story about this, about how we see what is the topic. So there's 3 different stories. And I'm writing about these 2 parts of us, about dependent identity and about our true self, and invite readers to kind of see themselves through what I'm writing about this, see themselves and realize what kind of dependent identities they holding on, and what this part of yourself that is true self, how it have appeared through your life, how it show up through your life.
Yeah, beautiful.
So it invites also analyzing something.
It's written in a story, right? Or is it with exercises?
I share my own stories, but through them I kind of show the patterns, not only my own, I show my own patterns, but this is about to understand, I guide readers to see themselves through what I sharing, but I share my own story.
So did we forget to look into a point that is really important for you, something that is channeling through you? No, but I guess you have to be in a special state to have a channeling. But
I have one point I like to, one message that we're all energetic beings, that we all have ability to channel yourself in different ways, and with different ways too. We have something we call intuition, but what is intuition? This is where you are aligned to some information and you just know that this is right. So this is a moment of alignment that we all have. So what I do through my life and through my work, we all are channels, and we can become a channels of our own truths. So this message I like to give, and everybody, each of us coming here with some gifts, and in order to complete this job, for example, I become a channel, I become a healer. I have everything in me, in this body. Don't matter what kind of limitation I had in my childhood. Everything in me, my energetical system is aligned to do, able to do what I need to do to live my life as I like, as I like. So everybody comes with the gifts, and everybody comes with disabilities. And if we like, we're consciousness. If we like something in our life, like I wanted to see information, no information, not just see no information. I like to explore what is the awakening state. When we give us kind of path, what do I like? Our consciousness create a possibility to do this, to be there. we have so many possibilities. We are the consciousness, we are the creator, and we are creating. Don't matter if we're conscious about this or not, we are creating. And I invite everybody to create consciously what they like in their life.
Yeah. If we are not conscious about our creation, we are unconscious. And by that, we are the victim of our own non-self.
And if somebody who listening think that they feel they like to be more open and they calling to be more open to some abilities and that we call spiritual abilities. I love to help people with this. This is also one of my what I do, my exploration and my potential, and I love this. Every time I have somebody who coming not to heal some limitations, but open some potentials, some abilities. I love the sessions because you really meet the person. I love to explore what is this client to sit in front of me, who it is, and see the light in this client.
Okay. So I channel my thought.
Yes.
When you help people to align or heal, as you say, did you realize that people open up some channels, some abilities, spiritual abilities, clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance?
Sometimes if this is part of the topic they coming with, but some clients coming to me, so I help them to open this.
Okay, so they consciously come for, I want to be more intuitive, however that will be.
Yes. And we are very different. For years, I hold the educations, like 1 year's education, to be a healer and seer. So people who can heal, people who can open abilities to see in different way, because somebody see, somebody feel information, and it feels like you're seeing something, but you're actually feeling information. It's different. And even people have the same group, they have same activations, they come out with different abilities. Because for me, this is not about you learn how to do this thing. For me, this is important. You open to these abilities you have and in the way you have it. And many people who come into me and say to me, I like to see. And I ask them, because I know they're already working as a healers, in which way you're working with your clients. And they begin to explain that they can feel their feelings, they can actually see, but a different way. And this is important to understand that we are different. And when I say I see, I also feel, I also know information. So this is different way how we can see. But don't matter how it's come to you, you get information. When you get this information, you can see in different way in yourself. It's like we have different abilities, and this is important. So not just be aware, but also realize what is your own ability, in the which way you can feel information. You are a spiritual being. We're just different spiritual being.
Wow, I think that's actually a very nice ending, because it feels like it's closing from where we started. I hope the listeners feel the same. For us, it has been 3.5 hours now.
Yes. But it was interesting. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
It was a pleasure.
And where can people find you?
Yes, I am in Denmark, and I am also online in the world. So I have a website, and this is GalinaSørensen.com. And I have a YouTube channel. This is in Danish. And in Russian.
Okay.
Not so much in English, actually. But it's, I believe it will come. But GalinaSørensen.com.
And Sørensen, how do they write? O-E, Sorensen?
Just all.
Just Sorensen. Okay, we will put that in the show notes on YouTube and Spotify, Apple, whatever. And you guys which listen to this, as you're all like reoccurring podcast listeners of my episode, you know where to find me. The Oliver Schirach Show, Spotify, YouTube, or oschirach@gmail.com. If you have any requests to be on the show, you have questions about the episodes, or you have questions you want me to ask Galina, for example, here in a second, third, fourth, fifth episode. So thank you very much that you made it here, and have a good night for now, or good morning. Bye-bye.